This is NewsOK TV.
This is NewsOK TV. Welcome everybody to another year and another edition of NewsOK TV. I'm Dave Morris. My co-host in crime, Angie Bress, is finishing up her holiday vacation, so it's time to take a look at the best of the rest from 2012. And as you know, last week, we took a look at some of our favorite videos from 2012. Well, it's the best of the rest show here on NewsOK TV. Again, I'm Dave Morris, and this week I'm joined by Kelly Fry. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Dave.
Editor of the Oklahoman, Vice President of the News and Information Center, and boy, there's been a lot of change this year and a lot of big stories. And talk to us a little bit about some of the news coverage from the Oklahoman, because we're talking about some investigations, some hard-hitting news.
Right. First of all, let me say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year
Thank
to
you
you and
very
to
much.
yours.
You too. Let's see, it was a busy year for us. There were a lot of serious topics we covered. Openness in government is always critical and foremost in our minds. We wrote a lot about that. It's something we'll continue to push for. Openness is very important to us, as it should be to everyone.
And that is one of the roles as a watchdog that the newspaper and the media has.
It really is. It's our responsibility, because who has time to go out and check a lot of government records, a lot of data?
True.
No one. That's our job. So it's important to us, and it should be important to everybody, to keep that kind of information open. We wrote a lot about, let's see, we have the Teddy Mitchell and the gambling.
There was a murder in Edmond, and there was gambling
Right.
involved, and there's several layers on that story. And Randy Ellis, Nolan Clay, Robbie Trammell have really dug deep into that topic.
They have, and that's one that we'll continue to write about through 2013. DHS, unfortunately, we wrote a lot about that.
It's unfortunate, but also good comes from investigative stories like that.
It really is true. It brings a focus, and another one of our very important roles is to give a voice to the voiceless. That's what we try to do.
Well said. And one of the other big stories of this year, of course, was the change of the Oklahoma City skyline. And anytime you see a significant change to a skyline in a major city, well, that's news. And in our case, that was the Devon Energy Center and the big tower. You may have seen it right in the middle of Oklahoma City. And in that tower are a couple of restaurants, including Vast, and you've been there.
It is so awesome. I don't even know a better word to describe it. I don't really know if my favorite part of Vast, I went to lunch and I went to dinner. I don't know if I liked the view at lunch better or the view at dinner better, because they were both amazing. I mean, you just look down and it looks like you're looking at like a little Monopoly village or something, because you can just see everything.
It's like when you're flying into the airport, you have that view almost.
Right, you do, and because you're so high up, and I mean, it's just amazing. That's the only word for it. And
Well,
food was good too.
One of the things we do here on this TV show is take a look at some of the videos that you can find every day on NewsOK.com. So here's the video of the Devon Tower.
I'm Dave Cathy, the Food Dude, and I am on the 49th floor of the Devon Tower, and this is Vast.
Well, Vast, as the concept goes, it's globally inspired American cuisine. We are trying to do something that speaks to, getting the best ingredients available and using our interpretation by using different techniques of well-known dishes from around the world.
Globally, it gives you the opportunity of even reaching out to things that are in Oklahoma City. And that's the beautiful part of it. There's so many things. I always say this in most of my interview, or if not all, that there's so many things still in Oklahoma that we still need to tap into. So we really tap into some things that are in Oklahoma and make it part of our global search and feature it in this menu.
We didn't want any direct correlation between lunch and dinner. We thought they should be their own separate entities. Neither one of them were approached as one is lesser than the other. We just didn't want to have the same fish dish at dinner as we do at lunch. Sure. And really, except for salmon, we didn't even want to use the same fish. So, we've got a haddock at lunch that's a little traditional play on a Midwestern fried fish. But at dinner, we've got striped bass and Dorade Royale as our white fish, So we wanted to keep it different, a different reason to go for different times of the day.
Vast the dessert menu which we have, we bring it put together, and as it is a global cuisine, so we choose all different countries what they use and blend it together with the American flair and bring it up. And we have couple dessert like the banana fry pie, which is, when you're having it, you feel banana pie, fry pie is a banana toast actually, which is very famous in USA. And we take it, we blend it with the Chinese, we make a gelato with that. A gelato with a tea, cardamom, cinnamon, and we have a honey sauce glaze. So a little French, a little Chinese, a little Indian. So all together blend and bring it together.
Well, lunch is Monday through Friday. We go from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Dinner goes every night from 5 till 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday, we're going to do dinner until 10:30. The bar is always going to stay open 1 hour later with food as well. Reservations are required for dinner, obviously, because we're just barely opening. There's a lot of hype and a lot of people trying to come in. For lunch, we obviously require the same thing, but it's not mandatory. We just want to make sure that people don't get disappointed taking a trip all the way up here and it's pretty booked that night. And what we tell people is just upscale.
So that's a look at Vast, and Dave Cathy is our food editor for the Oklahoman. He calls himself the food dude, so we do as well. And the good thing about working with Dave is often you get to eat. And in fact, later today, on the day we're taping this, there's a cookie contest in the Oklahoman. We're anticipating cookies, and I like some cookies. Let's talk about the food there at Vast. It was pretty good, right?
It was. I had the buffet at lunch, and at dinner I was there for an event. But yeah, both times I thought the food was good.
Well, I've shot some video with Dave over the years, and one of those was getting up bright and early to go to Midtown, which is just north of the Devon Energy Center in downtown, to Prairie Thunder Bakery. So here's a look at some of the things rising at that shop.
I'm Dave Cathy, the Food Dude. I'm down in Midtown at Prairie Thunder Baking Company, where a couple of weeks ago I came in here, owner John McBride, he put me through the paces, did a whole shift in the back. I learned a whole lot about making bread. One thing I learned was how bad I was at making bread, but by the end of the day I learned so much about a very simple process that they go through for hours and hours. This place is almost never closed. So right now, it's early in the morning, it's time to make the bread. We're going to go in the back and show you a little bit about how they do it here at Prairie Thunder.
And these are Stella.
Oh, yeah.
Bottom for Stella.
Prairie Thunder Baking Company was an idea that I came up with back in about 2005, and happened to coincide with the development of Midtown. We were one of the first tenants to sign a lease in this building here, and we ended up opening for business in April of 2008. So we've been about 4.5 years, and we've grown just almost every month, a little bit bigger than we were the month before. You don't find this anywhere else. A lot of our business now is commercial. We've started taking bread and baked goods to about 40 different places here in town through the week, and that's been really good. And it's been kind of fun to see that develop in Oklahoma City simultaneous with us being here too. All the new restaurants and things like that. Is that ready?
Yes, sir.
An 18-wheeler truck filled it. I mean, side to side, end to end, and about probably that deep. We got a big forklift and unloaded the truck and had pieces from completely around the kitchen, just stacks of them. We kind of matched, the stainless steel pieces and the painted pieces and the brick and all that. Just kind of had things that looked alike. And then a fella came from Austria that is one of 2 people on earth that can put these together. And he and I and several others spent 3 weeks straight, 12-hour days building it. And it's here. It's not going anywhere. It weighs 18,000 pounds. And most of the mass you don't even see is from the bottom deck to the floor. It's almost solid brick and mortar. And there's a fire chamber that goes through there, and then the radiant heat tubes go through there also. It's quite a process. And it's now 6:40 and they're out of the oven. So 2 a.m. to 6:30, about 4.5 hours once the dough's mixed.
geologist become a baker?
What is the saying? You jumped instead of ducked, that kind of thing. I was home one day making bread, and it was one of those moments where I realized I loved it a lot, just the whole process about it. And they always say, do what you love. And it kind of went from there, it developed from there. So how do you turn a dream into a reality? And it's a lot of work. It is. It took a couple of years of planning, or more than that, of planning and banks and all kinds of things, and ended up here.
Well, Kelly, that's a look at some pastries and bread, and I've worked for you now for 14 years, and over that years we've developed what we call the 5 food groups.
Yes, we have. Yes,
it's not necessarily the most nutritional food pyramid ever, but
it's not, but we're very serious about it. When we travel on business, we go to each city and we try to find the best in these categories: coffee, cheese, bread, chocolate, and
cookies.
Cookies.
You gotta have some cookies.
Gotta have some
there
cookies.
There may be some variables to that lineup, but it's a pretty solid lineup across the board.
We've done a lot of research.
We have done over a decade of research. Trust us. All right, coming up on NewsOK TV, shot down over enemy territory. A World War II vet shares his story about his time in a German prison camp. And later, we'll take a look at what's in store for the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com in 2013.
Everyone gets excited on game day. With the Oklahoman Full Access, you can get your sports news any way you like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, and our digital archives, starting as low as $12 a month. And it's free to current print subscribers. Log on to oklahoman.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
I spent a week each in a high school, a middle school, and an elementary school, and then wrote long-form, in-depth pieces about my experiences. A lot of times, if you have anonymous or pseudo-anonymous commenting, every discussion is going to devolve into politics or sports. With Facebook commenting, the community kept the discussion to education, and the thoughts were so well thought through.
The concept of the What's It Like is that we want to explain basic medical procedures to our readers. There's been a lot of interest in the series. We'll have people who write me who have had something done, but they didn't know that was how it was done because they were asleep. I've had people who have the procedure done and they'll write me and say, yeah, that's what happened. And so it's been really interesting.
Welcome back to NewsOK TV. I'm Dave Morris. Angie Bress is finishing up her holiday vacation, so filling in quite ably is Kelly Fry. Thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
You know, one of the things that the Oklahoman does really well is in-depth series. In fact, we have a series called In Depth that you can find online at newsok.com, but it's not just a 10-inch story. It's a little more involved and
Right.
multimedia packages on newsok.com.
Right. You know, it allows us to use all our tools. We use our strong photo, our strong video. Sometimes they have data that may come with them. And it gives our reporters a little chance to kind of flex their muscles, and our photographers and videographers. They can use a little more creativity, write a little bit longer form journalism.
And most reporters and editors, photographers, videographers, thrive on that sort of thing, you know?
They really do, they really do. You know, a lot of what we do is quick turn journalism. News happens, you've got to write it up, get it online, get it in the paper. This is a time that they can spend a little more time in what they're doing and really show off their stuff. We have a World War II one of a B-17 pilot that had been shot down. We have that one. We just have a huge array of them, including our trip to Peru.
Well, we went to Peru, and of course there was a little vacation involved in that, but
Machu Picchu, which is amazing.
Which is a fantastic tourist destination.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're ever going there, go early in the morning. Otherwise, there's dozens of buses that show up.
And it's hot.
It is hot and a lot of climbing. But that said, there was a local Catholic churches here who have missions down in Peru. So
Right.
it was a look at, hey, Oklahoma City and the people who grew up here really affect the lives of others around the world.
It really is cool. Father Joseph Ewan heads up that mission, and he has spent a lot of time building relationships with parishes here in the U.S., and they transform lives there. I mean, it's really amazing, and the poverty at that level is just something you've never seen before.
One of the things we'll have on NewsOK and in the Oklahoman is something that Feed the Children is doing locally, which addresses poverty in a different part of the world. But let's get back to something you said earlier. One of the in-depth stories was our Stories of the Ages series, which is part of that series, a World War II B-17 pilot shot down over enemy territory.
I served in the military from January 1942 until September 1945. I was a navigator on a B-17.
On this Veterans Day in 2012, a World War II veteran from Hollis, Oklahoma, spoke with the Oklahoman's Brian Painter about serving on a B-17 bomber. In addition to memories, Lloyd Mitchell and others in his crew kept diaries. Mitchell's memories go back 70 years. He was a crew member of the 8th Air Force, 96th Bomber Group, 413th Squadron. He says he was a navigator first and a gunner second, bombing from the skies about 20 to 25,000 feet up. But like other veterans, Mitchell explained that the experience affected the rest of his life.
I remember after it was all over and I was released and able to go back to my wife and my children, thinking to myself, Lloyd, you have been through a very, very trying, hard experience.
He was part of a 10-man crew, 5 of which kept diaries. In fact, Mitchell's son, Brooks Mitchell, obtained these diaries and published a book in 2006 titled The Story of the B-17 Flying Fortress, Kipling's Error. They Were Good Americans. Mitchell shared many memories with Painter during their interview, even remembering a day in 1943, flying off the coast of Denmark and a remarkable escape from death that day, noting that praying takes priority at that point.
I don't know the total number of planes, but there was a lot of B-17s involved in this raid. And we had crossed the Baltic and heading into Germany, and I could look ahead and see these 2 cloud layers that apparently were coming together, and they were coming together. And my thought at that time was, well, why on earth don't that lead plane turn around? He's not going to take us into that, is he? He did. And there, all of a sudden, there was 148 B-17s flying in close formation, enveloped in deep clouds. There was a number of collisions, and of course a lot of people, a lot of flyers lost. And in the meantime, the German fighters were all over us. And they loved to pick those individual planes up that was sitting out there by themselves. So there was quite a loss to the formation by the time they got home. Just after it was all over, you know, that was my reasoning. If you can get through something this tough, don't worry. You can do it.
It's 2013. We're taking a look back at some of the stories and videos you can find on NewsOK.com, here on NewsOK TV from 2012. One of the big stories, though, happened in Newtown with the shooting there and 26 people killed, and a lot of talk about guns and mental illness. Now, you wrote a book last year. She's an author, ladies and gentlemen. Vibrant,
well,
right here.
Me and Dr. Krishna. Actually, I spent a lot of time. Dr. Krishna, Dr. Murali Krishna, is head of the mental health Center for Baptist Integris Medical Center. And he, you know, he has quite an interesting story himself. And I'd written a story about that ran in the paper, and it's an in-depth. It was about a year ago last fall. After that story ran, he came to me and he said, let's write a book. So we got together every Thursday at 4 o'clock, and I just quizzed him about his life. So for a psychiatrist, it was kind of a shoe on the other foot. I got to ask him all the questions, and he had to come up with all the answers. But I learned a lot as well. And so it is his wisdom, and basically it's his life and his life lessons. It's a good read, and Dr. Krishna, he has a way of capturing the essence of situations. And after facing his own struggles, he has ultimately, let me get my prop here, become vibrant. And you know, he also talks about Oklahoma City becoming vibrant as well, because you know, we went through so much trauma in 1995 with the Oklahoma City bombing. And he writes about that, and he says that not only has he, you know, been able to rise above trauma and become vibrant, but Oklahoma City has as well.
All right, well, so congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
All right, moving right along. Speaking of vibrant, a lot of celebrities came to Oklahoma City, and if you know anything about NewsOK videos, you know Angie Bruss was right there with a microphone. Coming up next, look back at Dead Center Film Festival and Chris Kattan.
We're shooting more photos at each assignment, but we're putting those into separate galleries that can be added into the iPad and online editions so that the viewers can see a lot more photographs. We can tell a lot more of the story visually, give them more detailed shots, more overall shots, just a lot more variety that really enriches their experience.
Everyone has their morning routine. With the Oklahoman Full Access, you can get your morning news any way you like. The Oklahoman Full Access includes print, smartphones, tablets, print replica, and our digital archives, starting as low as $12 a month. And it's free to current print subscribers. Log on to oklahoman.com/subscribe to get started today. The Oklahoman Full Access.
Since its initial launch, over 40,000 current and new subscribers have activated a full access subscription with the Oklahoman. The Oklahoman.com is the newest addition to the suite of products included in this full access subscription.
The Oklahoman.com is a really unique website. You're not going to find many websites like it. It is really just like a newspaper. It has today's news packaged together, compared with the other news of the day, and prioritized by an editor.
Welcome back to NewsOK TV. I'm Dave Morris. Co-hosting this week is Dyer Fry, Vice President of the News and Information Center here at OPUBCO and editor of the Oklahoman. And let's talk some entertainment. Let's talk some fun stuff. The last segment was a little serious, so let's talk some entertainment. And you have a talented roster of reporters up there on the 6th floor.
I absolutely do. I have George Lang and Brandy McDonald and Jean Triplett and Matt Price. We really have, and Heather Warlick. I mean, we have a really good entertainment staff. They do some fun stuff, and they meet some really cool people.
They really do, and a lot of celebrities come through Oklahoma City, and you, as a avid follower of the Thunder, see a lot of them at the games.
I do. I mean, that is so fun because you'll hear, and it's funny how quickly it goes through the crowd with social media and things like that. People will be like, Ryan Seacrest is here, Steven Tyler is here. So it's really neat because we haven't had that experience in Oklahoma City where you get a lot of celebrity sightings.
A little Hollywood coming to downtown, and you mentioned Ryan Seacrest. That is one of the stars who came to town, and Angie Bruss interviewed him earlier this year. And she also covered some of the stars who came to the Dead Center Film Festival, including Chris Kattan.
Hey, it's Angie with NewsOK. I'm here at the 12th Annual Dead Center Film Festival. I'm here with Mr. Chris Kattan, who, of course, we all know him for Saturday Night Live, Night at the Roxbury. I mean, very cool, iconic roles. Yes. And now he is here for his movie, Just Crazy Enough, which was directed by Oklahoman Lance McDaniel. He's the executive director of the Dead Center Film Festival, so very cool. You actually shot the film here in Oklahoma. What'd you think?
Did, yeah, it was great. It was great to film it here. And I'd say a couple weeks into the movie, I finally realized that, oh, it's in the script, it says Oklahoma, so that's good. So we don't have to pretend it's somewhere else.
How was Oklahoma? How did it treat you?
It treated me very well. It gave me a nice, the whole city just gave me a nice massage.
Very nice. Now, you worked with a lot of Oklahomans acting-wise, and even, I know they shot and edited it all here. Oklahoma City Community College, I believe, even helped out.
Yeah, the DP was so good. He was amazing, and it's so interesting to hire somebody who is like the professor of photography in college, in the university here, and hire that guy to do the movie, as opposed to somebody who's like the hot new thing and does these commercial stuff, because he's probably not going to know even more. Yeah, so it's like a brilliant way to go about it. So to cast, the actors around here, which was so impressive, I had absolutely no idea, and I felt like, that I didn't know. You just don't know until you find out yourself, and it's really a gold mine here. I was really, really impressed.
So we're talking entertainment in this segment, and one of my favorite things to produce is working with George Lang from the entertainment desk on a series called Static, and we have over 60 episodes of Static where we interview and record local musical artists in various genres, whether at an art gallery or here in our studio or live on stage somewhere. Big thanks to our sponsors through this year for helping us out with that series. Again, there's 60 of them. The most recent one was the holiday sessions taped over at Camp's 310 Lounge. Be sure to check that out at static.newsok.com for some good local music. All right, coming up, what you can expect from the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com in 2013.
Since its initial launch, over 40,000 current and new subscribers have activated a full access subscription with the Oklahoman. The Oklahoman.com is the newest addition to the suite of products included in this full access subscription.
The Oklahoman.com is a really unique website. You're not going to find many websites like it. It is really just like a newspaper. It has today's news packaged together, compared with the other news of the day, and prioritized by an editor.
Since its initial launch, over 40,000 current and new subscribers have activated a full access subscription with the Oklahoman. The Oklahoman.com is the newest addition to the suite of products included in this full access subscription.
The Oklahoman.com is a really unique website. You're not going to find many websites like it. It is really just like a newspaper. It has today's news packaged together, compared with the other news of the day, and prioritized by an editor.
We've actually been using the QR codes for a couple of years now, starting off in some of our custom publications, but now we've really ratcheted up this year, using it in the daily newspaper, and it's definitely taken off. We use QR codes so that our readers don't have to get up from their newspaper to look at our multimedia, video, photo streams, lots of different multimedia that we have online.
All right, welcome back to the final segment here on NewsOK TV. Things always get more hilarious during the breaks on this show, I think. I'm Dave Morris alongside Dyer Fry, and last week we gave Mayor Mick Cornett the final word as he spoke about 2013 for Oklahoma City, and I'll give you the final word here of anything to look forward to and changes with the Oklahoman in our coverage.
You know, I think it's a lot about technology, Dave. I think equipment has changed. We're able to take video out into the field. Through social media, we're able to interact more with our readers, users, viewers. And then that's not to say that we don't refocus on the print product as well. We're going to be looking at the life section and kind of making some changes there, maybe a little more broad audience topics in that area. So it's all about changes around here because that's what we do best. We like to stay up with technology. We like to embrace technology. Apps, video, the studio, in the studio, out of the studio. I think journalism is becoming more and more interlaced with our readers.
Well said, and I have nothing that can top that, so I'll say this much. Happy holidays once again, and hope everybody had pleasant holidays, chance to catch up with the families and loved ones, and you had, whether it was a good or bad 2012, let's all make 2013 better. Have a good one, everyone.
Happy New Year.